There's so many things that I want to thank you for. Lord, I thank you for your grace. I thank you for your mercy, God. I thank you for your love. Thank you for favor, oh God. God, if I had 10,000 tongues, I couldn't say enough thank yous, and I couldn't praise you enough. So in this song, I'll simply tell you I love you. And God, I thank you for everything you've done. Lord, there's so many things that you've done for me. Blessings unconditional, they seem to overtake me. Your hand of mercy proving faithful and true. Jesus, how can I express my thanks to you for your grace and kindness, oh, agent of days. I'll give you thanks, oh Lord, now and always. Oh, I just want to say thank you for your love. Thank you. Thank you for the love. Thanks to you for all of the times that you brought me through. Lord, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your grace. Thank you, Lord, for keeping me safe. Thanks to you that I can share the good news of a Savior, to give someone a reason just to tell you thanks. Oh, Lord, yeah. Thank you, Lord. Lord, it's not enough to give a simple praise to the one who has blessed me in so many ways. Nothing I could say or do could really show my gratitude to you, Lord. One God, one love, one faith. To you I give you praise. Three blessed Trinity, you mean so much to me. And you showered me with love, even when I turned away. Lord, I could never repay you, so I'll just say, I just want to say thank you.
All right. All right. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Truly Live with your co founders and co hosts, Oliver and
Yolanda.
Oliver and Yolanda Blue, and we are the OK Blues, and we are delighted that you have made a quality decision to join with us for this hour where we set our intention to share what we call very, very relevant information, a little bit of inspiration, backed by some transformation. And hopefully you are empowered to go out and live your best life as a result of that. But most of all, we're here to share a whole lot of love.
All right.
Because we have a whole lot of love to give.
All right.
All right. Well, hello, dear.
Hi. And you didn't give me my comments again.
You would like to have your comments?
Again.
All right. Yes, because we want to
Yes.
make sure that we are interacting with the viewers tonight. Welcome, everyone. And we're excited about tonight's episode and about tonight's subject because we think it is so timely, right?
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Yes, let's get into it.
Well, before we get into it, we always should acknowledge that we may have new viewers, right?
Exactly.
And they have no idea who we are.
Exactly.
And so to not leave them in a mystery, we are the OK Blues. And we are marriage partners and business partners of 33 years. Can you believe that?
Oh, yeah. I've been here.
33 years of marriage and business partnership. And it has been an adventure.
It has.
To say the most.
It has.
But we have survived it all. We are the better for it all. I am. I know that I am.
I know. I know you are.
Yeah.
No, we are.
Yes. And what you're looking at here is not where we started.
No.
I'm a project kid. That means I was born in government housing in the late 50s. Telling my age, right? And I was raised up, in the first 10 years of my life was in the 60s. The next 10 years of my life was in the 70s. And by the time the end of the 70s, I was a young adult. I was in college. I had left the little small rural town that had served me well. So I thought. And
it had.
And it has. And I went on my little merry way. But little did I know, many miles away, in the same state, born in the 60s.
There you go.
Late 60s.
There you go. See, there you go.
Little did I know that there was this innocent farm girl. Yeah, farm girl, sharecropper.
I was not a sharecropper.
In the northern part of the state.
I was not a sharecropper. My daddy was.
Well, you was part of the clan, or you part of the family.
Oh, wow. Now I'm in the clan. Right. All right. Okay.
And she was on the northern part of the state.
I was in the northern part.
Being groomed and developed, right? Yeah. Just for me. And I didn't know a thing about it. I had no idea.
Oh, my goodness.
And little did we both know that 33 years ago, that our life would be absolutely changed forever.
Oh, could never have imagined.
Could never have imagined.
I could never have imagined.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so what do you get when you put a farm girl together with a project kid? You get Truly Live. Who could have figured out that equation?
Oh boy. Wasn't what I had planned.
Absolutely. But this one thing we do know, that we were born to have a collaborative life, right? We were born for a purpose, right? Because
we all are.
We're together because of purpose.
Yes.
Right. There's nothing about me that will sustain her for 33 years other than purpose. I can't say the same thing about her because I got to go to sleep tonight. And so we came together 33 years ago and started our journey.
But you know what? That is actually it's a true statement.
Yeah.
Because people think that it's love, it's love, it's love.
And it is love, but it ain't the love that we come to know. Would you say?
Well, so
because purpose is love.
So yes, there is love, but there have been so many songs that have been written about it, and so what happens is there has to be there will come the time, and it's usually in every relationship where there has to be more, and for us
there has to be what?
There has to be more.
There has to be more.
There has to be more, and for us, it was purpose that kept us on the track,
and continues to what?
Keep us on track. To keep us
yeah,
focused.
Because we were born for a purpose. And all of us, whether we know it or not, we were born for and with a purpose.
Yes. And we get to choose and decide. So it was a decision that I made. And I'm one of those people. I'm a person of integrity. So I keep my word. So you got lucky.
I'm blessed. I'm not going to use the L word. I'm going to use the B word. Oliver K. Blue Jr. is blessed in this relationship.
So
blessed to have found that partner that was in alignment and integrity with my purpose in life.
So folks who know me know because I'm joking and I'm playing.
Because I'm difficult.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I'm difficult.
That's true.
When you got a purpose, when you have a mission in life, when you have a burning desire and you discover that, when you discover who you are, the real you that loves you, your life, your purposeful life, it shows up and it shows out in a world that has no purpose, in a space where there is no purpose, there is no reason. In a space where there is wandering.
Oh, yes.
Right? Because, when we live by default, when you live a life by default.
And what does that mean? What does living life by default
Living life
means?
by default meaning you really don't know your purpose in life. You really don't have a plan. You really don't have a target. You don't have a destination of where you're going. So
living by default actually means that whatever comes up, you're paddling.
Right.
You're constantly treading, trying to stay afloat, trying to keep your head above water.
It's a life of survival.
Yeah.
And it's totally different than living life on purpose and by design.
By design.
Right.
And for us, that means that we're living with intention. That we focus our attention on what it is that we want, and then we make certain that the decisions that we're making, the thoughts that we're thinking, that everything is in harmony and in alignment, and moves us in the direction for where we want to go. So that's what we're talking about.
Absolutely. Well, for me, it was for me, or what that really means to me is that you got to know what you want.
You have to know what you want.
You have to know what it is that you want. And your desires and your want is an indication of what you're here to do.
Yes.
Of what you're here to be.
Your longings. That's exactly
what you're here to give, what you're here to share or to solve.
To be.
Right.
To contribute, to express.
Absolutely, because we're all a part of this universal family, right? And in an ideal family, everyone is making contributions to make the family better, stronger, right?
Yes.
More valuable, more healthy, right? More peaceful. And life is the same way.
Yes.
We're all put here with these absolutely unique personalities, absolutely unique expressions. You can't find another one of you if you look and search the whole world. I know I can't find another one of you.
Oh, no, you cannot.
But you cannot find another self like you
like
if you search the world over, because you are so uniquely designed. Notice now, we were not created by default, but we were created by design. And if you have any experience with the creation story, it says that we were created in the imagination.
Yes.
And in the likeness of our Creator.
Yes.
Right? And it says that we were given the purpose of having dominion.
Yes.
Right? Of being what? Fruitful. And of what? Multiplying.
Yes.
Right? And so in reality, all of our purpose is the same. But we are uniquely designed to express it in such a way that it not only blesses you and gives you confidence about who you are, but it blesses the environment that you're in. It blesses the whole world.
Yes.
Right? It's good in it for everybody.
All right.
It is good in it. Your life at its best is good in it for everyone. And so this is who we are. These are some of the ideas that we strongly hold, what we shared so far. But as a couple that is here on a mission, and we're very passionate about helping people to get unstuck from whatever you may think you're stuck in. Wherever you feel that you are being held back from having the abundant life, because we all been given it. Wherever that is for you, we are here to help you to free yourself from the gap between where you are and that abundant life that awaits you, that abundant life that is in you, or may I say that abundant life that is you.
Yes. Wow. See, I said, let's get into it. And I meant, let's start with the things that we have to do since there's a certain amount of time. And you were like, oh, let's start by saying who we're, and then you got really deep into
That's
it.
who we are. This is what's coming out of me right now.
Oh my goodness.
Is an expression of who we are, who we have found and discovered ourselves to be. Because we have realized that you don't get in life what you want. What you get in life, who you discover or who you think yourself to be. And all of us came from the same source. And so all of us have the same value, the same equality, the same purpose, the same power. And we're going to get into that tonight when we get to our lesson.
Let's do that. Okay, let's do that.
So if you are out there tonight and you are new with us, the way we interact with you on this platform is that we ask you to communicate with us through the comment field or the chat, depending on where you are. You may be on Facebook, you may be on Twitter, you may be on our YouTube channel, but there's a way in either of those platforms for you to make comments, for you to ask questions. We would like to make this conversational and interactive. And so we invite you to share in this time with us. So with that said,
so let's say hello to those who are joining us, who know who we are. So hi to everyone. And then by all means, let's say hello to my dad, who I know is not watching, but hey, as he doesn't do any technology, he barely watches television, so he's not into any of the technology stuff, none of that. But hi, Dad. Anyway,
but your dad,
I was with him yesterday. Your
dad knows he's done his job, and he did it well. So
yeah. I was with him yesterday, and I got to hang out with my sisters. So I'm also going to say hello to. I hung out with two of my sisters yesterday. My sister 1 and sister 3. I'm sister 2.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. And so anytime I'm with that sister three, y'all know her, Tanya. Whoo, it is on like popcorn. I mean, so we just had it. We had a good time. Terry, Tanya, and I, we had a really good time. Didn't get to hang out with Veronica, and I didn't get to call her since I ended up leaving Daddy's house so late. So I'm going to call that call sister four. I'm going to call Veronica, check in on her.
Yeah.
So I got to hang out with some of my siblings, which is always fun.
Yes, and we definitely want to give a shout out to my mother, who is always a first seat supporter of anything that Yolanda and I do.
Absolutely.
She is an absolute jewel. She has been around these streets probably longer than any of us. And so she's no stranger to living her best life. And she's still doing that. And thank you, Mama Blue, for gracing us.
Yes. So, and I see that we've got a patron that's on. Hello, Virginia. That's our northern connection.
Hello, Virginia.
This is northern, as in Canada, connection. Hi, Virginia. So good to know that you're on. We've got some Robins on. Hi, we've got Robin on. Hello, Robin. And so I'm going to, we're looking forward to spending some time with you next week as well, Robin. So that's going to be great.
Oh, all right. Absolutely. We look forward to that. And so we're gonna kind of set the mood, before we get too in depth into what we want to share tonight. One thing that Yolanda and I have learned is that the easiest way to free ourselves from any feeling of separation or anxiety or fear is to use gratitude, right? Gratitude is a powerful means by which we could reconnect ourselves with what is true, what is real, what is lasting. And so I just like to say that, for me, in this real moment right here, I am so happy and I am so grateful. I am so happy and I am so grateful that you and I have the courage, right, to come before this camera and these microphones and open our lives up to help others, right?
Yes.
To help others realize the freedom that is within inside of them. And so I'm happy and grateful that courage continues to get stronger in us, right?
Yes.
And the impact that we're having continue to reach far beyond what we could ever have imagined when we dreamed this up, right?
Yes.
So that's what I'm happy and grateful for in this moment.
All right.
What about you?
Oh, I'm happy and grateful for my family.
Yes.
Your mom is 91 and my dad is 87. And we're incredibly blessed to be able to spend time with them. So my dad's having some medical challenges. So I'm happy and grateful for him, and that that I get to be able to create experiences with him.
Absolutely.
And of course, I'm happy and grateful for my grandson. Oh my goodness. Every time I spend some time with him, which I got to do, it is just out of this world always.
Absolutely. And if you're out there and like to share something that you are happy and grateful for, just put it in the comment field.
In the chat. Yeah.
Add it to the chat. We love to hear and we love to share. So.
All right. Are we ready to move to the next week?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. So what we want to do now is we always like to now that we've set the mood, right? Now that we've explained who we are, we've kind of set the mood where you can be relaxed and know that you are in a safe environment, right? And know that we're only here for all of our best interests.
Yes.
Now we like to reach out into the universe and pull in some wisdom, right? And so during this segment of our program, we like to always share with you a quote that kind of jumpstart our life lesson for tonight.
Okay.
And tonight's quote is coming from one of my admired teachers of personal development. And I'm going to let you, I'd like for you to share the quote.
All right. So tonight's truly live quote is, "You are the absolute solution to all your perceived problems and to all of the unfolding of your abundant life." I'm going to repeat that.
Read that again.
You are the absolute solution to all of your perceived problems and to all of the unfolding of your abundant life. That quote is by Jim Calvert, and by Kim Calvert, and she's with Dynamite Lifestyle.
Yes.
Kim Calvert.
Yes.
Calvert.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, thank you, honey. So when we look at that quote again, there's a lot there. There's a lot. In fact, we could just land there for tonight, right? And it says here that you are your absolute solution. That every solution to every notice it said perceived problem, yes, right? Because problems are only problem if we perceive them to be that. It's right. But it says that the solution to every perceived problem is you. It's inside of you. It's inside of me. It's inside of each one of us, right? If there is a perceived problem, what the wisdom is telling us is that the answer to that perceived problem is within us. It's not outside of us. Now, it may show up outside of us in the form that we need it, but the real solution is within us, within our thinking.
Yes.
It's what it's saying. That our thoughts, because we have a perceived thought for a problem, that only mean that there is the equal opposite, which is a answer to the perceived problem.
Yes.
And that all of our unfolding, in other words, everything that happens to us in life, everything that happens in our life, it comes from us, and it is an abundant life.
Yes.
That is inside of all of us.
So Robin did post in the chat that she's grateful for life itself and for my family. Grateful for life itself and my family. Robin, I understand.
Yes.
Understand that. And that's where we like to stay at as well.
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
Yes,
thank you for sharing, Robin.
All right.
All right. So that's a good segue into.
Do you have comments on going on there or not?
Let's see.
All right.
All right. We're good. All right. I'll leave it right there. Okay. So let's get into tonight's Truly Life lesson. And so we'll start off with a question. And the question is, how ready are you for change? How ready are you for change?
Yes.
Why? Because change is inevitable, right? Because we live in a perceptual world. We live in a perceptual world. What do I mean, Oliver? What do you mean we live in a perceptual world? Well, we live in a world of time and space. We live in a world of change, right? We live in a world where nothing is stable, but everything is moving because everything is energy, right? So life just moves in and out of different forms, right? And so
energy is moving,
right,
and energy is moving into different forms.
Different forms.
You said nothing is stable, but you mean nothing is static.
Nothing is static.
Everything is moving.
Right. So life is energy, and life is constantly moving in and out of form.
Yes.
Right. And because that is the reality in this physical plane that we live on, right? Not everything is always moving and changing here. Even the solid wall that you may be looking at in your room, or look at any object in your room, and it appears to be solid and motionless. But in reality, that thing that you're looking at, it is energy and it is moving, even though it looks solid, because the movement cannot be seen with the naked eye, right? But that doesn't mean that it's not moving and that it's not energy.
Well, so that means that all movement can't be seen with the naked eye.
Yes.
So if you want an example of that, if you're doing any remodeling of your house, what was set up and was straight on those lines is no longer straight, and that's because the foundation is moving. There's, the house breathes, so it breathes out and it expands,
and
then it breathes, it contracts, and so it comes back. So there is movement.
Yeah, one of the elements one of the evidence that your house is moving, that is really not stable, is that over a period of time,
it's not static.
Static is that over a period of time you begin to see what we call cracks,
and that.
We begin to see
that is definitely an indication that the foundation has moved.
Right, and you begin to see a little separation at some of the points of intersection, and it's just an indication that things is moving. Even though we're in this, you live in a house, you definitely know that you're moving if you're in a car, because that's the objective is for the car is to transport you from one place to another. And so, because we live in a perceptual world, right? We all have the ability to perceive, meaning that we have the ability to interpret. Perception simply means to interpret. It's the ability to interpret something, right? In other words, give it a meaning, give it a value based on, and this is where it gets dicey, that value that we give it, that importance that we give it, is really based on our perception, or it is based on our point of view, which is heavily influenced by our past, heavily influenced by what we know. And what we know ain't all there is to know. It's heavily influenced by our conditioning.
Yeah.
Or our belief system, I can put it to you that way. Or, what is our map of life? How do we see ourselves? How do we see others? How do we see the world?
So our perception is very much like a pair of glasses. Yes. Now, these are readers. These are readers. And I put them on to see things that are up close. This is why I look over, because these are just readers. So, but if I were wearing glasses like your glasses, what happened, because you're wearing glasses, what happens is everything that you see through those glasses.
Right.
That's what our perception is. We see everything in life. We see it through those things that you've said, our experiences, our stories, our past, this is past experiences, our conditionings. Those are all the things that we observed, over the years. And some of those things we decided to take
as our very
own. And so they became our beliefs, and those things became patterns,
right?
And habits,
right?
And now, those things are working in the background without us even thinking about it.
Absolutely, because all of those things that Yolanda mentioned, we could categorize them as lenses.
Yes.
Right? Because every pair of glasses is different. Like my glasses are designed for me because my eyesight, I am nearsighted, meaning I don't see good afar off. Yolanda's glasses are designed for her because she needs assistance in the short distance, right?
Yes.
That means there may be some issues with foresightedness. I'm not speaking that on you.
Well, actually, so that's not my issue. My issue is just I need the magnification for the itty bitty, for the tiny writing. So I don't have any issues.
Well, I need the magnification for the signs that are way out in front of me that I can't see them.
So when
so that's magnification.
When we took the children, this was years ago, to get their eyesight checked, because we had been noticing that one of them kept easing up closer to the television, and so they were fitted for glasses, and then it was like, oh, this one needs to go too. So Oliver decides to take one of our sons. And so
I wasn't wearing glasses.
You were not. No one was wearing glasses at that time. And so she was explaining some things were going on. And so Oliver said, "What do you mean?" And so she said, "Oh, look in here, Mr. Blue." She said, "You see such and such." And he's like, "What?" She said, "You see that?" And he's like, "Where?" She said, "Mr. Blue, you need to make an appointment too."
Oh my goodness. I couldn't see. I didn't realize that I needed some assistance, that I wasn't seeing as clearly as I did before. And so, that's just a part of life, right? But all of us on a daily basis, we are using some criteria to interpret what we see, what we are experiencing, right? And based on the lenses that we're looking through, based on the story of our lives, right? Yes. Especially if we're still hanging on to old stories, hanging on to old trauma and drama, hanging on to experiences that keep us from really fully expressing who we are, then all of that is impacting our life, is impacting what we think about ourselves, and is impacting, basically it impacts our entire being.
Yes, it impacts how we interact with others as well.
Right.
So yes, it affects everything. How we see, how we perceive, and this is something else. How we perceive others is actually an indication of how we perceive ourselves.
Right. Absolutely.
So
the lens that we look through is the lens that we actually mirror back to ourselves. Yes. Right. So in many cases, there's a line in the Course in Miracles that says, as we see our brother is the way that we see ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. So we're not really seeing. Right. And then the Course go on to say, I want to see. And then it says, I want to see differently. Right. Different. Because we're not really seeing. When we're just seeing from our hurt and our pain, we're not really seeing. No. We're not really experiencing life. We're not really seeing what's before us, right? We're only seeing in the past. And if we're only seeing in the past, then that means we have no future, right? And so if we perceive ourselves as only what we have experienced in the past, then that's not abundant life. That's not abundant living. And we know that. We feel that. We know that we like to use the word stuck, right? Because there's a part of us, just like there's a part of us that wants to hang on to the old stories, that want to hang on to the patterns and the habits that we know don't serve us.
And we do that because it's comfortable.
Because
we know this. And a lot of times we do this knowing that it's not working for us. We know that it's not serving our purpose because it's not moving us in the direction that we really want to go.
Oh, absolutely.
So even though we know that it's not good for us, we have a tendency to continue to do the same thing, and we get the same results. But what happens is we actually get more frustration. So there's things are growing. There's a Chinese quote that says, "Behavior is a mirror in which everyone shows his own image."
Yes, it is. I can remember as you've heard my story. You've had to live with my story. And again, like I said, I was a project kid that grew up in the 60s, right? So I was an African-American kid growing up in the South, in the rural small town, right? In the 60s, when we know what that environment was like. on the surface, right? And all of that influenced me. All of that got into my subconscious, right? And a lot of it I embraced. I didn't understand it, right? Because, I considered myself an innocent kid. And I tried to honor the adults that were in the room, my parents, all of the adults, my school teachers. And well-meaning as they were at times, they were only projecting upon me what their fears, what their anxieties, and what their beliefs were. That in many cases were very mediocre, and it wasn't the truth about who they were. And so by the time I became a young adult in my early 20s and a graduate from college and started my career, in management, now all of a sudden I'm in a position to lead people. I realized that I wasn't prepared. I realized that there was something missing, and that missing thing was that I didn't know who I was, right? And so I didn't have confidence. I didn't have courage. I had my perception of my problem was outside of me.
Yes.
I didn't realize that the solution, like Kim said, the solution to my perceived problems was inside of me.
Yes.
But I had never gone deep enough inside my own self to examine my own self, to investigate my own self, to discover for my own self who I was. I was the product of my conditioning, right? And I found myself very fearful in my early young adult years. But lo and behold, something happened in my life 33 years ago. It was 33 years ago. And it was 33 years ago after I discovered something about myself that I did not know. You came along into my life, and we made a decision that we were going to find out everything we could find out about the truth of who we were.
Yes.
And the truth of life and how life worked and what was our purpose and how could we develop ourselves to express the best self that we are.
Because our desire was to make certain that we fulfilled that which we were placed in this space.
Yes.
And we know that part of our purpose, which is everyone's purpose, is to increase the condition of humanity.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know if that's your experience or not, but Yolanda and I got to the point in our life that we realized that about 99% of the things that we knew or believed in, they were not true.
So let's talk about that really, really quickly, because what we really discovered was that things that we had believed that we were believing were truth were not truth. Truth is steady. It's constant. It doesn't change.
It doesn't change.
It's
unalterable.
It's the same yesterday, today,
it
forever.
Can't be altered. That's
but
right.
What happens is, because there are things that we take, that we place value on, and we do this, like we said,
based on our
by our conditionings,
our
stories, our experiences, those things, really the things that really affect us are the things that we take as our own, and so then what happens is that becomes true to us.
It becomes true to us.
So it's true to us. And we hear people saying, oh, that's their truth. That's their truth. Well, it becomes true to us, but it's not the truth.
Right.
And so that's why, math is one of those things that's a great thing, because what happens is, 2 + 2 equals 4. And it doesn't matter what you think about that or what you believe about that, or 2 + 2 is going to always be 4. So when we realized the things that we had been thinking were truth were not truth, you know, we were at a place where we could, that we needed to do, we were going to do something. Either we're going to continue doing the same thing that we've been doing and getting the same results that we had been getting, which was frustrating to us, or we could do something else
or make the shift.
So that's what we did. We decided to pivot.
Yes.
We decided we were going to let go of everything that was not serving, that was not moving us in the direction of where we wanted to go.
Absolutely.
So everything that was not serving our purpose and our vision, we decided, you know what, time to let that go and to move on.
Yes.
So we did. We moved through, and because we did that, because we decided to drop that stuff, then we now had space, and we're open to the possibilities of what could be.
Yes, what awaited us in truth, right?
So when we hold on to all those stories, all those experiences, all those traumas, all those, and something has happened to everyone. So we all have stories, and this is not to minimize anything that anyone has gone through, but we all have experiences, and when we hold on to that, what we're doing is we don't open our minds, we don't open our bodies, we don't open ourselves up for other experiences.
We're not open to the freedom that we desire, right? Because if it's truth, like the master teacher says, you shall know the truth, and the truth that you know shall make you what?
Free.
It shall make you free. So whatever we value, right, that whether it be by tradition or whether it be just by conditioning, or whether we hold on to things and make them bigger than life, right? If they're not setting us free to be ourselves and to be the full expression of ourselves, then they're not the truth, right?
Yes.
And we live in a world where there's a lot of suffering, and we see it every day, and we see it magnified in so many ways. And we look at that and we think that something has gone wrong, that love has been defeated, that God has been defeated, right? But in reality, what we are seeing is just the outcomes, right, of what we are valuing that is not the truth.
Yes.
And it produces the very opposite of what we want, because we all want the same thing. We all want peace. We all want abundance. We all want happiness and fulfillment.
And we all want love.
Right. And we all want love. Well, it comes out of the seed of love. It comes out of the seed of truth. And so we were willing to make the shift, right?
Yes.
We were willing to prepare ourselves for the change or for the abundant life that awaited us.
Yes.
Right. But there had to be a decision made. Right?
Yes.
There always have to be the decision made.
Well, actually, there is always a decision made, period.
Yes.
Because sometimes when we decide not to do anything, there's still a decision that's been made. And what happens is we're going to get the results of that decision.
Absolutely.
So when, like if we decide that we're going to, as Mary says, stay in the bed and pull the covers up over our heads, we're going to get the results of staying in bed all day and pulling the covers up over our head, as opposed to, getting up and taking some action that's going to move us in the direction of where we want, of what we want and what we want to be, to do, to give, to solve, to express, to create. So we're going to get those. We're going to get the decision. We're going to get the results for whatever decision we make, and we're always making a decision. Even if we don't make a decision, we've made a decision. We made a decision not to go to do anything, and we get those results. So when we read the quote that Kim had stated, that we are the absolute solution to all of our perceived problems, it's because we're the ones who
created the
problem.
We're
the one who's creating it.
We're the one that created the problem, because we're all sitting in our decisions.
Yeah.
We're all getting the results of our decision. I mean, we cannot deny that. We have to take responsibility for our lives and take responsibility for the results in our life.
And
because results do not lie.
No, they do not. And understand that responsibility is not a bad word.
It's not a bad word.
Responsibility is just our ability to respond.
Yes.
Again, something that we get to decide.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so
it should be incredibly empowering for us to know that we are the ones who's in charge. Right. It's us.
Right. So when we talk about, are you ready for change? Are you ready to make the shift to prepare for a future that you would absolutely love? I want to give you two things that you can actually take away from tonight's session that are helpful tools to help you prepare yourself for a future that you would absolutely love to live. And so the first thing has to do with shifting your perception. Shifting your perception. And just think about it. You don't need anyone's approval to make a decision to shift the way you see things.
No.
Right? So because perception,
no one's approval and no one's permission.
Because it is our perception, it's our interpretation of what we're seeing based on a past or based on wrong information that is causing us, right, to see incorrectly, right? And it causes us many times to be stuck and not have the courage to move forward because of our perception. So there needs to be a shift in perception. If these glasses that I have on don't bring clarity to my vision, I need to take these glasses, chunk them, and find me some that gives me clarity to my vision. I have to be willing to do that. I have to be willing to make that shift. Right? A lot of time in our thinking is not based on the truth.
No.
And if we haven't figured that out yet, we've created our life with our thinking, with our thoughts. Because in the creation process, we've taught here many times that everything in life is created twice. First in our thoughts, then in form. So everything that we see in the physical came from someone's thoughts.
That's right.
It started out with a thought. That's how the creation process worked for all of us. So the life that we now live, the results that we are standing in, the outcomes that we have to take responsibility for, whether we like them or not, they are the results of our thinking.
Now, the pastors have jumped on, and yes, we actually discussed this a little bit earlier about our perceptions are colored by the lens of our conditionings. We talked about how we see everything through those lenses,
and so our stories.
So those are through the lenses of our stories, our experiences, our beliefs.
Right.
Our conditionings,
which create patterns.
It creates patterns. It creates habits.
Right.
And then when by the time that it's created a habit, we're no longer even consciously thinking about it.
We're doing it automatically.
These things are happening without us even putting forth the energy or the effort to do that.
Yes.
So there's a lot that's going on all the time, and then sometimes we wonder, why is this happening? What is going on? It's what's happening in our minds in that I don't want to say back room, but it's happening without us even thinking about it.
Yeah, and if you're just jumping on late, we're Oliver and Yolanda Blue, and
we're not saying you're jumping on late. We're saying if you're just jumping on, we're glad to have you.
We're glad to have you, and we are here sharing and having conversation around the subject of, are you ready for the change that awaits you? Are you ready for the life that awaits you? Right? And
we're talking about one of the ways that we get ready for change has to do with our perception.
One of the prerequisites is changing our perception.
It has to do with
changing the way we see.
Yes.
Because if we're seeing from the past, the past doesn't exist anymore. Think about it now. The past doesn't exist. So if the past doesn't exist anymore and we're looking through the lens of the past, we're looking through nothing.
So let's just talk about the past not existing anymore, because here is the reality is this: we can't do anything about what has happened in the past. We can't go back and change anything that has happened. What we can do about the past is to change our perception. We can change how we interact with what happened. And if we get into, we were talking about using perception as how we can change our thinking. When we use this thing that we do, we actually started the program with gratitude.
Right.
Is another one of those powerful ways to be able to change to change our perception. And what happens is, for those things that happened in our past that we think it's bad, we've been struggling with it, it has us stuck, it has us weighed down. We can actually look at what happened and decide, because we talked about decision earlier. We can decide that we're going to look for the good.
Look for the good in it.
Look for the good that was in there, because there is always good. There's always blessing in everything. Sometimes the good is we learn a lesson.
We learned a lesson. Yeah, we look for the good and we forgive the rest.
That's right.
And one of the skill sets that you and I have learned is that we reframe our past.
Yes.
Right. We take what we thought was a bad situation or a bad experience that we have, and we reframe it, right, to this present moment. We see it as a way that pushed us into our purpose. It pushed us into our future. It really actually helped us to do the internal work, right? The pain, the suffering, or what we perceived as being a mistreatment. We now reframe that and said, oh my God, that was energy and fuel to move me where I needed to be, move me in the place that I needed to be in, right?
Because sometimes we're not going to move. We won't move unless we get a little assistance.
Yes. So number one tool, to be ready for the future that is calling you, because there's a future calling all of us, and that future is right now. It's calling us right now to come to know ourselves. It's calling us right now to be the best expression of ourselves. It's calling us right now to allow that which is seeking to emerge in our life, that longing that you have for that business, for that relationship, for improved health, for better and more time and more financial freedom, for your spiritual growth, whatever it might be for you. Because
for your personal growth, for your interpersonal growth, because all of us are involved in relationship of some kind with someone.
Yeah.
And I dare say that there is some resistance.
Yes.
In some of those relationships. Yes. Well, just understand this. Let's talk about perception really quick there. When we're growing muscles, you don't grow muscles unless you have a little resistance.
Unless you have some resistance. I'm in the gym now, right?
I know you're in the gym.
I'm in the gym now, ladies and gentlemen. I've never been a part of a gym. I've never been a member of the gym until the beginning of this year.
But that doesn't mean you didn't work out.
Because I did
kettlebells for a while
I did it a different way. Yeah. But I absolutely love going in the gym and creating that resistance that through that resistance, it further develops my muscles, my bones, and I'm excited about it. Right? If you ever seen, I heard people talk about people being gym rat. I'm not that yet.
No.
And I'll never be a rat, but I really love going to the gym and working out. I didn't know I was missing that, but I had to be willing to shift my thinking, right?
Because your sons kept telling you, Dad, you need to get in the gym. You need to be lifting weights. You didn't listen to your sons until, well, now you did. So we're going to say there. I'm going to just read this right quick. So the pastor said, she said, I was looking for an item this morning and could not find it. It wasn't until I dropped how I perceived it internally that I actually saw it.
It was there all the time.
Yes. Wow. So I'm telling you, taking a pause, taking a breath.
So shifting perception is a great tool. And finally, our second tool we want to leave you with today. In order to prepare yourself for the change, for the abundant life that is already present and ready for you to say yes to, you have to be willing to work on your self-image. We have to be willing to work on our self-image. And what is our self-image? It's what we think about ourselves.
Yes.
You know, I am a prime example of one that had a poor image of himself. Even though you would look at my life and you say you look at my life and you would say from your perception, from what you saw, that I had a great life. I had a great life. You would say I had a great job. I had a great career. I had a great wife. I had great friends. Everything in life appeared to be working for me on the surface level. But inside, I was an empty, fearful, not knowing individual.
So your public life, you were successful. Your private life?
My private life was, it was very fearful.
Yeah.
That's where I was. Listen, I am sitting here tonight talking to a international audience on a mic in front of this international audience by use of a microphone and a camera. And 3 years ago, I was petrified to even think that I could do what I'm doing now and speak the way I'm speaking now and be open and freely talking about my past and my life and saying that I'm showing up to help others to get unstuck and to create clarity. And I was petrified of that, but I knew what I wanted.
And you did it. You did it privately. You helped so many people.
Yes.
So you did that privately, but you just for some reason had that block.
But it was the self-image that I had about myself. Yes. I didn't like my voice. I didn't think I was articulate. You know, when you live 33 years with a science and English major, you know, my whole life been about, being in class or being in school or being shown the correct way, right?
Well,
or expanding my awareness.
The universe does work according to a certain way.
Absolutely. And
I knew that and was sharing that with you.
Absolutely.
And you kept saying, no, Yolanda, everything is not science. And I kept saying, well, everything is energy. And so I was just explaining.
Yes.
Well, now I was like, everything is energy. And I'm like, welcome.
Absolutely.
Welcome. I'm going to read a couple of these. I'm going to read a couple of these. The pastor said, to build the being that I need to be to fit the vision that I want to bring into being. And that's what transformation is. I mean, that's what, getting vision clarity about.
Right.
It's about you becoming a match for the vision that you have, and for you to discover who it is that you truly are.
Absolutely.
Because you said earlier, we all have a personality, and we do, and we all have had experiences.
Yes.
But we are more than our personality, and we are certainly more than our experiences.
Absolutely.
And so this is why it's good for us to be able to get that perspective.
Absolutely.
So that we can understand, okay, yes, this is my personality. This is kind of what I do. And this is what these things have happened. But the things that have happened to us and our personality does not have to define who we are.
Absolutely.
And what it is that we decide that we want to ultimately do.
Absolutely. So to break out of your comfort zone, to break out of your fears, out of your anxiety, out of what you have perceived yourself to be, that keeps you from fully expressing yourself.
The pastor said, she said, we're given everything that we need to evolve. She said, you were given yo-yo.
Yeah, absolutely. I was given yo-yo. But it really comes.
She's the only one that calls me yo-yo.
I know. But it really for me, it really came down to my accepting the reality that I am deserving of all the good in life.
Yes.
It really came from me that I am deserving of, and I am worthy of all the good that's in life, because that was my block. For some reason, that block was, I accepted that, the opposite of that as the truth, and it kept me stuck.
Yeah.
But when I discovered, like the master teacher said, he came that we might have life and might have it how? more abundantly, that abundant life meant full spectrum, that not only my inner world was free
Yes.
for expression,
Yes.
but that my outer world would be just as free and expressive to express and to demonstrate and to prove the abundant life that has been given to all of us equally.
Yes. Yes.
And so here I am.
So you know what, this is something that we're going to have to continue,
yes.
but because
our time is up.
Our sense of deserving certainly frames our perception.
Yeah.
So
this is definitely at least a 2-part lesson.
Yeah.
We're gonna continue to unpack this because we haven't even got, at the essence of really what we want to say. We're just doing the introductory here tonight.
Yes.
And thank you guys for being such a attentive.
Yes, we see some
audience
others.
tonight.
Some others got on. We
Yes.
see you, and thank you so much for
yes,
joining
thank you.
us.
Thank you, my friend Eldred, for being on tonight. Thank you, cousin Ronald.
Regina
for being on tonight. Thank you, Regina.
And my soror.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, line sister.
A really special thanks to my cousin Mont. His real name is Ronald. He's a barber. He's not just a barber, but he's a barber. What's the word? Extraordinaire.
Extraordinaire.
He's a barber extraordinaire.
Okay.
Because he was able to perform something that a lot of barbers have not been able to do and sustain, and that is to service my wife with the cut that she desired. And she's absolutely flabbergasted over his artistry, his work.
Yes.
And so she'll be back.
Yes.
She'll be back, Mont. She'll be back.
Yes.
So you can stop trying to cut your own hair. She's been cutting her own hair for the last 5, at least 6 years, maybe longer than that.
No, it was just through the pandemic.
Well, that's at least 4 years. At least 4
through
years.
the pandemic. Yeah. Yes, it was.
And it was kind of painful to watch at times. But now she has found herself
you said it was painful to watch, but he had me cutting his hair too, guys.
Now she has found herself a barber that we both now share. Isn't that something? Yeah. I never would have thought that.
The pastor says,
I never would have thought
Pastor says she's so glad she tuned in.
Thank you.
And she said, I look good. Yes, thank you.
Yes,
Virginia said, thanks for such a powerful message so clearly presented.
Thank you, Virginia.
Virginia, we love you dearly.
And we send our love to Brenda.
Yes.
In the northern Canadian area.
And we will see you all in private community, Virginia.
Next week.
We will see, because Virginia is one of our patrons.
Yes.
As are the pastors, they're our patrons, and so they will be in private community with us, where we really get into.
Well, we really get into the nitty gritty.
Get into some
yes, you ought to consider becoming a patron of our community. Patrons are those that support us. And as a result of their support of our work, because they believe in what we're doing, they get private time with us. They really get to see behind the scenes in our life. We really get into some of the deeper things.
We get to do in-depth
teaching. Yes,
we did. We were with the patron community for a full year.
Yep.
And it was just us and them. And I mean, we got into some really deep, transformational study so that we could get to the point of understanding, so that we can actually experience this life that we deeply desire.
And it's really it is the most economical way to engage Yolanda and I in what we do. And so to become a patron, all you will have to do is go on your laptop or go on your phone and put in www.patreon.com/trulylive. Don't put the TM in there. www.patreon.com/trulylive. Go there, click on the button, and then you will be presented with levels of options that you can become a patron to our community. And we love to have you because there like Yolanda said, we take a deeper dive, and we're like family in there, right?
Yes, we are.
And so we love to have you join us as one of our patrons. And there are many other ways to engage our services and we'll get into that during our next episode. So next Thursday will be
there you go.
Yes, there you go. So next Thursday will be the 5th Thursday of the month. That means that we will be on next Thursday, and we will finish up, or at least get into part 2 of this subject on
how ready
are
you for change,
right, and getting ready for change, and give you some tools that you can implement in your own life to get to the outcomes and the results that you desire.
Yes.
So with that said, we always like to close our program out by sending out and sharing with you a blessing.
Yes.
And not only you, but with all those that you love and hold dear in your heart.
Yeah. So we thank you guys for being with us, and we bless all of you who've joined with us and those that you hold near and dear in your heart. So
may you be truly happy.
May you live in peace.
May you live in love.
May you know the power of forgiveness.
And may you live in the recognition that your life has deep meaning and good purpose.
That's the Dalai Lama's loving kindness meditation that we say as a prayer. We say that for everyone that we know. We do this on a regular basis. And Oliver and I add to that, may you live in the awareness of who you truly are. We actually extend this blessing to every being on the planet. And so it is.
All right. And with that said, I'm Oliver.
I'm Yolanda.
And together we are the OK Blues.
Your sweet love away, but you stay right here beside me, never letting me go. Now I know the love I needed was right here all along. I know that love to forgive all the hurt and pain. Love is enough to remove all you can change. Love is enough to make up for what you have made. I know that love is enough. God's love is enough.